Hi guys, this is Crafty Cat. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. We are here recording this on the first day of August 2025, and you know what that means? July is done. And July is World Watercolor Month, and this July 2025 was the 10th anniversary of World Watercolor Month, and this is my beautiful little pencil case that I bought to support them. All the proceeds of this went to a really good charity to help International Child Arts Foundation. And this one here is by Diane Antone. Isn't it cute? Look at the little harvest mouse. So anyway, yeah, we made it through. So every July for the last 2 years, well, this is my third year now, since 2023. So I don't know, 25 minus 23 is 2. But this is my third time doing it. I don't know. But anyway, every July lately, I have been trying to follow the challenges and paint every day, or at least almost every day. So, and they give you 31 prompts. So I do follow the prompts, which is like a word every day that you need to try to paint. And I find that really helpful. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this beautiful pencil case that I got, and I've got some of my supplies in here, and we are going to do a sketchbook tour. So let me move this aside. Let's put it up here. Well, no room. All right, so first up we have my Artist Loft sketchbook. This is a watercolor pad from Michaels in Canada. It is a artist level 2, I don't even know what that means, sketchbook. It's a 300 grams or 140 pounds acid-free watercolor paper, and it's 8.5 inches by 11 inches, and of course I used it for World Watercolor Month 2025. So we're gonna do a sketchbook tour. All right, on day 1 I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed and I followed a tutorial. So for day 1, the word was radiant, and I painted this scene using my core watercolors. Isn't that pretty? And this was a sketch by Tati Hannah RMP. I can't remember, but there is every one of these images has a YouTube video which will tell you more. So if I did use a tutorial, that information will be there. But I didn't use a lot of tutorials this year. I wanted to try to challenge myself to do as many paintings on my own as I could. But for day 1, I decided just to get something done. The first page of the sketchbook is always a little bit sketchy. Sometimes I leave it completely blank and start with the second page, thinking I'll go back and do a title page later, but I never do. So this year I thought I'll just use the first page. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. I love my little birds. I think that's really pretty. And these core watercolors are beautiful. Day 2, the prompt was espresso. So I painted this cute little coffee cup with a heart. It's supposed to be espresso, some coffee beans on a like a wooden table with a light yellow background and some steam raising up. And I used Meeden gouache. And this, I used an image that I found online, I think on Unsplash. But it was like, I was looking at a bunch of images together, and I didn't draw any of the images. I used like bits and pieces from a lot of different images, I think. There is a video for this. I can't remember. It's a month ago now. And day 3, the word was ripple. So this, I use my own reference photo. I go for walks at Whitefish Island a lot. And there are lots of ducks and beavers and chipmunks and squirrels and cute little animals. So this was a picture I had that I really liked because the duck was dribbling water from his mouth and there were ripples around it, and I tried to paint it looking at the colors in my picture, and I'm happy with it, but what I should do, and I might do now that World Watercolor is over, well, I won't do it soon because I'm going to camp pretty soon for the month of August, but when I come back, I might darken the darks. I think this just needs more darks. There's not enough dark on the duck. I just need to do that and maybe lighten up the background here. But yeah, I'm very happy with my duck. What do you guys think? This is a male mallard duck with a reflection. So yeah, I think it's cute. It's just there's too much green. I maybe would, if I were to frame it, I would frame it so it just looked kind of like that without so much background. And what did I use for this? I used my Paul Rubens watercolor. I really love Paul Rubens watercolor. They're very inexpensive, but they're professional, supposedly, and they have good light fast ratings, and I just really like how vibrant and saturated the colors are. For day 4, the word was fade. So I had a faded picture of my dad that, you know when you take a picture into the sun and everything looks all like hazy and white because the sun is in the way? The sun was like coming down like this. So I did that, and I did a figure of my dad bent over planting stuff in the garden. And I used my Derwent Graphitint. I thought they were perfect to get that faded look. And I didn't oversaturate. I just put more colors in the front and on my dad. And just to try to show this part here. But I wanted the rest just to be very muted and just in the background. So I didn't put any detail in the fence or the background, or like we have like hedges back here. And I didn't want to do that. And I could have outlined him in pen and made him stand out more, did an ink and wash. But I didn't do that because the word was faded. And I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. I might paint this picture again, but bring it more to life. But because the word was fade, I did that. And I think I did go over it with some white gel pen, or I don't know what that says. What does that say? Math plus white gel pen? I can't read my own writing. But yeah, I don't see where I use gel pen anywhere. No, I really don't. So I don't know why I wrote white. Oh, and my reference picture. Oh, you know what? I probably added some white paint to bring back some of the lines that I lost. Maybe that's what I did. It says plus Matthew White plus my reference picture. Oh, you know what? I must have watched a tutorial on painting figures by Matthew White. Yes, he had a tutorial of figures, and one of the figures was bent in this exact position of my dad. That's what that was. Anyway, you guys, there's a video all about it. And this is one of my favorite ones. This is day 5. The word was lock. And my walk at Whitefish Island, you have to go over the Soo Locks. There's a little bridge. I park back behind these trees. There's a parking lot. And then I walk up, and when there's not a boat here, there's a little bridge, a swinging bridge that swings over the canal. So you could walk over to the other side, and there's an island here. And then there's another bridge that leads to another island, and I walk on this side. And this day that I came in, there was the Locks tour boat coming through. So this was my reference picture, and I used Himi gouache, and I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I had to try really hard not to put too much detail in this house because I wanted it receding, and I wanted this to be the focal point. Same with the bridge. I did it very simply. That's the International Bridge. But I wanted the eyes to be drawn this way, toward this. So I was really happy with how this turned out. I love working with the Himi gouache. Some days I'm better with it than other days, and I don't know why, but that's it for painting and me generally. Some days I can paint, other days I can't. I have no idea why. Alright, so that was day 5 lock. Day 6, the word was hat. And day 7, the word was melt. So I used my Arteza watercolor pencils. I have a big set of watercolor pencils. I wanted something really fast. So I did a quick cat sketch and a quick ice cream sketch out of my imagination, and this is how they look. So these are watercolor pencils. So you just draw with pencils, and then after you go with a water brush with clean water, and you color over it, and it activates the colors and turns it into paint. And you can make it as bright and vibrant or as light as you want. So yeah, I thought that was cute. I wanted something simple and fast that day, well, those 2 days, because I was tired from the previous painting. It took me a long time. And then we have to go this way, because I was afraid I was going to run out of pages. I didn't. So I didn't have to draw on the backs, but I did. Day 8 was... What was the word for day 8? Did I not write it? I didn't. Hang on. Day 8, the word was tired. So, I can't believe I forgot to write it. Tired. So, I painted this little puppy who ended up looking like a fox, sleeping. And I used my Paul Rubens plus my Derwent pastel paint pens. And this was a reference photo by Leon somebody on Unsplash. I can't read my writing. And I do have a video, so in the video it shows you who gave the reference photo in case you want to try it. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. I love the way the dog bed turned out, and I love the way the shadows look back here. The dog, he looks like a fox, but he's still cute. Now this one, I would say, is my favorite painting of the year. Or one of my favorite paintings of the year. One of them. So day 9, the word was home. So I have to tell you, I'm not used to doing figures, so my figures won't have faces yet. But in the picture, my dad didn't have a face either because he was the shadow of his hat. So that's exactly how the photo looked. This is my reference photo. And this was just after my brother had visited from the Arnprior Renfrew area, which is near Ottawa. He came for a visit, and he was leaving. So my dad was standing there watching my brother pull away in his truck. And I was taking photos the other way of my brother pulling away and waving. And then I turned around and I got a picture of my dad standing in front of the house. And this is the backyard of our house. You can see the big sloping roof. So our house looks really small in the backyard and really big in the front yard. Because in the front yard, it looks like a 2.5-story house, but in the backyard, it kind of looks like just like a little 1-story house because of the slanting roof. And these are our lilac trees and our flowers and the little hummingbird feeder and a little corner of the boat and my swing, and my dad had hanging plants and the other swing. So yeah, and I wanted to try this like a line and wash. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I was really happy. This took me a long time. And I used my good watercolors, my Rembrandt Watercolors, and I know Hoo Fine Liner. I won my Rembrandt Watercolors my first year of doing World Watercolor Month. So yeah, this is very special to me. The only thing I didn't like was the blue I chose for the sky was granulating. And I don't like a granulating blue in the sky, and I didn't realize it was granulating. It kind of looks like tire tracks in the sky. But yeah, this was one of my favorite ones. You can see the shadow from the hedges in the boat here. The shadows in the driveway. You can just see a little wee bit like of my dad's truck and my car, but hardly ever. And the hedges on the other side and the trees. This, I'm really, really happy with it. So I want to keep working on figures. That for this year, that is my goal, to keep working on figures and maybe start learning how to do faces. And that would be awesome. And the next one, this is another one of my favorite ones. This was day 10, turtle. And I used Himi gouache and my own reference photo. This was also taken at Whitefish Island at the pond. We have turtles there. So yeah, and I'm super, super happy with how it looked. What's hard about the Himi gouache is while I was painting this background, it was much lighter and it dried darker. So And even in the camera, it's looking much darker than it is in real life. It's so funny. Like when I'm looking in the camera here, it's a deep blue, but when I look without the camera, it's a lighter blue. That's so weird. But the camera is darkening the whole page. But it might not look like that when I go to editing, because quite often I go to editing and then the colors look desaturated. So, I don't know. But I was really happy with how the mossy rock looked. This was like a big rock with all kinds of lichen and moss. And the turtle looked like he even had lichen growing on his legs. So I'm super happy with how this turtle came out. And I like the way the Himi gouache dries. It feels almost velvety to the touch. And I really like painting bigger. I usually paint in a much smaller sketchbook, about half that size. And it's so much easier painting bigger. It takes longer, but it's easier to see details. My eyesight's not good. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. And then I needed a break because the other ones took me so long. So I wanted to do something quick for day 11. And the word was spicy. So I painted these peppers from a photo I found on Unsplash by Harry Krishnan. Yeah, and I used my Caran d'Ache gouache, which is the gouache that's in the big red pan. And look how beautiful and vibrant that looks. Isn't that pretty? I actually would frame this and put it in the kitchen. I love this one so much. And I really love that shadow, that I kind of use shadows that match. This shadow doesn't look as good as this shadow because this guy tilted up. And I thought in my brain that it should tilt down for the shadow, but it didn't. I was looking at a photo. The shadow actually kind of looked like that, so. But this shadow was fun. And yeah, I might, I either take this out of my book and frame it and put it in the kitchen, or photocopy it on my printer and just get a copy made and put that up. Super cute. Day 12 and 13, I combined the words rumble and cavern to do, because when I thought of rumble, the first thing I thought about was a motorcycle and a bumblebee. And I thought, yeah, we're going to do this. So the cavern is this beehive. It's a dive bar, but it's a hive bar, you guys. Get it? So it's a hive bar. They're having a sale. They have honey on tap. And a lot of the bees fly to it. But this guy is cool, and he likes to ride his little red motorbike. And the ramp to get up there if you're on a bike is a green blade of grass. And I just thought he got so fat he couldn't fly anymore with his little tiny wings. So he had to get a bike, a little mobile assist. And I just drew this out of my imagination mostly. There's a little snail and a butterfly. And yeah, the bluebells. And I used my Himi gouache and my Paul Rubens watercolor. So I think I used the Paul Rubens for the background, just for the sky. And I think all the rest is Himi gouache. Because I didn't want a thick sky. I wanted like a muted sky. Just, yeah. And that's a really nice way to add gouache and paint together. Because I really like that Paul Rubens sky. It's so pretty. It doesn't interfere. And I like the hive, the cavern. And I even wanted to put a little sign in here saying Winding Road. And I love the little neighbor this guy's looking. Super cute. This made me happy. This took me a very long time, but it made me happy. So what do you guys think? And I used the back of the page for day 14, which was stretch. And I did Gumby and Pokey. They are stretchy characters. I had these as toys as a little girl. And there's also a cartoon about them that came out in the, I want to say the 60s. And then I think they redid it in the 90s. So I watched a bunch of the cartoons on YouTube. They're charming. But I watched the really old ones. And I remember them from childhood. And I had a lot of fun doing this. And it was super quick to do. And I found the photo reference on eBay. They were selling these figurines. And I used my Caran d'Ache gouache. So that's how they look closer up. And Lori and I used to fight over who got to play with Pokey. This is Gumby and this is Pokey. We like Pokey better. And day 15 is sad. Day 15 was my kind of last happy day. I painted this. It was dusty. The prompt was dusty, so I painted the dust bunnies from The Sims 4 using a reference picture from The Sims 4. If you play The Sims 4 and you have the Dust the Bus add-on, when your house gets too dirty, you start getting dust bunnies, and they're super cute, and you can befriend them and they'll give you money or gifts. And yeah, so I painted that, and they have little button eyes, and they're just made of dust, and I used my Himi gouache. I think I used my Himi gouache. I don't remember, and I didn't write it down, unfortunately. But my aunt died right after this, and then my mom's best friend also died. And my cousin Andy had a stroke. The whole month of July was horrible. My cousin Andy, who's a year older than me, had a stroke. Thank God he lived. But we didn't know if he would live when he had the stroke. We didn't know if he'd ever walk again. But he can walk and talk, and he's doing great. So he did well. And, but yeah, my Auntie Erna died. We knew that any time she could go. She was 99 years old. But she was really looking forward to her 100th birthday. And yeah, it was really sad. And then my mom's best friend also passed away, Marlene. So yeah, it was sad. So I lost some time between this painting and this painting because we had funerals and stuff. And I didn't go to my aunt's funeral, but I went to the hospital to see my aunt before she died. We went to go visit her. I went to go visit Marlene in the hospital. I went to go visit my cousin Andy, and I just couldn't paint. So between this and this, I lost about a week, I would say. So then I was playing catch up. So day 16 was geode. And I painted this amethyst. And I used my Daniel Smith watercolor because I have my Daniel Smith watercolor. I have one set that's regular watercolor from Daniel Smith. And the other set is like made from stones. It's called the Primatech. And actually, the amethyst color is made of amethyst. And I also used my vintage shimmer metallic watercolor, which is just from Temu, which was so funny. I used my very expensive and very cheap ones together. And I really love the way this turned out. And I don't know if you can see the shine and the shimmer, but it's really fun. And I'll show you the real, if I can reach it, I'll show you the real amethyst that I was looking at. Alright, this is the real amethyst that I bought off eBay. Not eBay, Amazon. Amazon, and it also came with a little pendant. It was $22. Isn't it pretty? So I just put it there, and I just used it as a reference. I wasn't trying to do it exactly, but I did want to keep kind of that shape. And I was looking at it. Of course, the real one is way more beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this so much, you guys. But you know what? I really love my painting too. And I used salt in here to get that crystalline thing. And I should have probably used more salt, but I didn't want to take away all the color. So I really love this one. And this was when I started feeling a little bit better again after all the tragedy. Painting really helped me this month. Painting is so therapeutic, and I didn't realize. I thought I was giving myself a break on the days where I didn't paint, but I didn't start feeling good again until I started painting. So that is something I learned, that when I'm not feeling good, when I'm feeling sad or down, I need to paint. Even if I feel like I'm too sad to paint, painting will take me out of that mood. So yeah. And then the next day I just did like 15-minute scribble, literally. This is from my imagination. The word was chair. So I really badly wanted to be on the beach, sitting in a chair, reading or doing art and drinking some, should be water, because I drink water all the time, but I was really in the mood for a bottle of Diet Pepsi. So in my mind, that's not just water, it might be Diet Pepsi. I know I drew it to look like water, but... So I just did this in like a little simple line and wash. Very simple. A lot of people on my Facebook channel loved it more than my paintings that took me 3 hours to do, or 2 hours. This took me 15 minutes. It's like, done. I use my Paul Rubens, and I do paint faster with my Paul Rubens because I would say out of all my paint, that's the one I use the most. So I'm more comfortable with it. Like, I know how it works, which really helps. But yeah. So I did more cartoony on a beach. Yeah, and Sharpie. I just used a thicker Sharpie because I wanted the thicker line so it would look more cartoony. And then following this one, day 17, we got to turn it this way because I was again getting worried that I would run out. And this was the week of funerals and stuff too. So day 18 was rigid and day 19 was perform. So I put the two paintings on one. So this is my parrot, Smokey, performing with the microphone. She has a very rigid beak, and also the microphone is rigid. So that is Smokey the bird performing, singing and whistling. She does not have a microphone in real life because she doesn't need one. She's very loud. And I use my Daniel Smith plus a Sharpie, and that's it. And I used like all one color for this, I think, or maybe two colors. The gray and the darker gray. Because Smokey's an African gray parrot. She's all gray and white with a red tail. And the microphone is black and gray. And I just gave it, because she didn't have her red tail, because I just did her face, I put a pop of red here just to symbolize the red that she has. And then I just drew these little musical notes. So that was day 18 and 19. So whenever I do something simple, I try to follow it with something more intricate, and vice versa. So here's day 20. This is my number one favorite one. The word was kitchen, and the kitchen is the heart of our home. And my parents do everything together, including cooking, but that's relatively new, I'd say the last 10 years. My mom was always the cook. My dad was like he would cook outside. He'd do barbecues. But my dad has taken an interest in cooking in the last 10 years, which my mother does not like. So they're always in the kitchen cooking together but arguing, because Dad likes to try new recipes and Mom likes to stick to the things she knows. But on this day, they were making a traditional meal, and my dad was just making the salad, and there was no arguing, because I think it might have been the New Year's dinner, because it was after Christmas, because there's a poinsettia. So I think it was New Year's or maybe their anniversary. And my mom was making gnocchi, homemade gnocchi. And that's like the water boiling and the sauce and the meatballs. And I don't know if she was making soup. I don't know. I can't remember what was in these two pots. But I know this was the sauce and the meatballs, and this was the water for the gnocchi. And this is our kitchen. And I did it in a more painterly style. And my dad, the figure at the back. I told you I'm trying to learn figures. And my mom from the side. And at the last minute, I put a little dot in there for her eye and ear. And I should have left it out because it looked better without it. But yeah, this is from my own reference photo. And that's our kitchen. And everyone on my Facebook really, really loved this. And my dad looks exactly like my dad from behind. He always wears big, baggy t-shirts, and his pants, even though he has a belt, his pants are always falling down. Usually he's got a little bit of underwear showing because his pants are falling down. He looks like he has no butt at all because he needs to buy new pants because he lost weight. And my mom wears this top all the time for cooking, and this is a tea towel that she always has over her shoulder. Her hair is in a ponytail, and I was trying to do it with the light shining down so it was lighter here. And the cupboards are more this color. They're like a light wood color. But they look darker down here because it's in shadow. And I use my good Rembrandt watercolors for this. And I'm super, super happy with how this turned out. I love it so much. And I think it has a lot of meaning for me. So my dad built this kitchen. And then I painted it in a painting. And my mom made that beautiful meal. And my dad made the salad. And while this was happening, we had company and sitting in the dining room waiting for dinner. So yeah, day 20, I would say, is my favorite piece of the whole month. But moving on. Day 21 and day 22, the words were street food and jacket. And I used my Himi gouache. We don't have street food. I live in Northern Ontario, Canada. And we have roadside food, though. We have wild strawberries and raspberries and choke cherries, sugar plums, which I think other people call Saskatoon berries, hazelnuts, wild apples. So I did this little strawberry, and that is a yellow jacket wasp. They love strawberries. And I used the Himi gouache. And I was trying to be more expressive in the background and, well, with the whole thing, but more like blocky. And I hate this leaf so much. But I don't mind these ones. But I learned something new. A lot of the art that I'm really attracted to is not art that I'm comfortable doing yet. Like I had an easier time painting this kind of leaf than this. It was supposed to just be blocky and abstract, and it's really hard for me to do that. So, but I'm happy with this portion. So if I were to frame it, I would just cut it and frame it like that. Super cute. And I can also go over it, because this is gouache. You could use many layers as you want in gouache, I guess. I could fix that leaf if I want it and make it more like this. It's just I wanted this to be the focal point. And I think it is. And I decided to put a little heart here on the light spot, because I love strawberries. So that was day 21 and 22. This took me a long time. And because it took me a long time, I wanted something simple the next day. So for day 23, the prompt was group. And I drew a group of stones. I just said of my imagination. I had seen this technique done before. I think it's called neurographic art, where you just draw random lines. And then you paint them and you can color in between them with black. I think it's called neurographic art. So I wanted to use that technique. And also I had seen that where you come out of the frame. So I thought I'll try that too. And I used my Rembrandt Watercolor watercolor paint and a Sharpie to do this. And I colored all the black with a Sharpie because my Rembrandt only goes that dark. And it wasn't dark enough. I'm really happy with how these turned out. This is called a wishing stone, by the way. If you ever find a stone with just one line going through, pick it up, make a wish, and then give the rock away, and your wish is supposed to come true. So I put a wishing stone in here, you guys. So if you all want to make a wish, you can, because you've already given the rock away, because I have it. And we have a lot of them that have the striations. So I had a lot of fun painting this. And the Derwent Graffitint was perfect. I don't know if you could see, but there is some shine in the Derwent, but not a lot. But there's like a slight sparkle in the grays especially. They're fun paints. And I really loved this one, and it was very relaxing to do. So that was day 23. Day 24. Avocado. I could have done this in 15 minutes if I wanted to, but I think it took me half an hour because I went back and added more detail in the shadow. And I should have made it bigger. And after I was done, about a week, maybe 3 days after, I was looking at it, I thought, oh, that pit should have been a lot bigger. I don't know why I made the pit so small. I think the pit should have filled up that whole space here. But I'm still very happy with it. And I used my Caran d'Ache Neocolor crayons. Actually, I've got them right here. I'll show you. These were a gift from my best friend Lori a couple of years ago. She bought them for my birthday. So there's 15 little crayons. They are so much fun. So if you only go back and watch one video and you want something fun and easy, go watch this video, because it is super easy to use these, and they're just, it's a joy. It's a real joy to use these. And look how bright and vibrant they are. Super cute. So that was avocado. And then day 25 was Howl. And I used my Rembrandt watercolors, and I did this wolf howling at the moon. I asked AI to generate simple, cartoony photos of a wolf howling at the moon. And AI generated, I think, 3 pictures, and I put items from the 3 pictures together to get this picture, sort of. But mostly one picture I was looking at, but the other picture I was looking at, it had more hills and trees in the background, and I didn't want that. And then I added my own thing for this big stone and the lines around the moon. And I wanted to do this like monochromatic almost, so I just used like blues and gray and a little bit of, I don't even know if I did go to black or if it was just like the dark gray. So here's my wolf close up. I'm very happy with how it turned out. So it would even look nice if I just cropped it like that, sort of. It doesn't need the whole thing. It's just hard in the camera. But yeah, so I'm happy with that. So that was day 25, the Rembrandt Watercolors. And I was running out of days of the month, and I have to get ready to go to camp. And my best friend and her family are in town, and they're at their camp, and I've already been out twice. So I started combining days. So day 26, 27, and 29, I felt the prompts all went together well. Sea, drift, and submerge. Don't those go great together? So here is the sea with a kayak who lifted up the paddle. You can see the water falling down, and she's just drifting, and there is a submerged whale watching. And I used gouache for this. And I had fun. And I did this more of an, like, not realistic at all, more cartoony, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, gouache. And look at the blues. My favorite part of this whole scene is this part at the bottom with the whale in the blue. Isn't that pretty? So that I might do this again, just the whale peeking out of the water. No sky, no island, no kayaker. And maybe not even peeking. I would raise the top of the water so it's above him. So he's not peeking out, but close. I think that would be really pretty. So that was day 26, 27, and 29. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. And you guys, that leads us to the last one where I combined 3 again. This is day 28, 30, and 31. The words were weave, ornate, and tower. So I painted this weaver bird. He's called a weaver bird. That's the male weaver bird. And he has built this beautiful ornate nest. And it's a long, towering nest. They build these. They're very long and tubular. And they build it to attract a mate. And the mate will come and inspect the house and decide whether she wants to mate with him based on the house. So I tried to do more realistic branches here and here, and then everything else is stylized, and I went for like an artistic-y background. So I just did a wet on wet wash in the background and with all the different colors that I wanted, and I put salt. And I was gonna make this branch come out so it was more three-dimensional. And then I decided I'm tired. I don't want to do that. I was done with World Watercolor Month by that point. So I didn't do that. And I'm really happy with how the background with the salt turned out. I just wanted it to look like a mystical forest in behind. And I used my Rembrandt, my good watercolors, my expensive ones that I won. And also my Caran d'Ache Neocolor. I went and I added some lines on the bird because he wasn't brown enough. And I used that just to add some lines on this to make it look, you could see the woven grasses, but just to make it look more ornate, to go to the ornate prompt. And I also thought the background kind of looks ornate. It kind of looks like crystal. So yeah. So that is weave, the weaver bird, ornate, the background too, and the tower. So that is it. And I did not have to worry about running out of pages. I still have 4 more. So I really need to finish this watercolor book because then I'll have a finished book. But yeah. So that is it. I loved this book. This Artist Love book is wonderful. I'm going to buy more. I think I'm going to buy 2 more. I'm going to buy one for sketching and watercolor. I might do my I did Inktober last year for the first time. I called it Mousetober, so for every prompt I put a mouse in it. And I might do it again in a big one. And I also want to get one of these because someone in the review said it really works well for acrylic painting. So I might start an acrylic sketchbook. Because the only reason I don't paint in acrylic so much is because I keep having to use those, I don't know what they're called, like canvases and canvas boards, and they take up so much space. So if I can paint in acrylic in this, that'd be awesome. So I think I'm going to go buy 2 more right away when I get back from camp. Because right now they're having a, well, maybe I should do it before I go to camp. Because they're having a sale now, buy 2, get 1 free, I think. Let me check and see if the sale is still on. No, yeah, it is. Buy 2, get 1 free. So maybe I'll just go buy 3 of these. Because these are awesome. The size is really great. So anyway, guys, what was your favorite painting in all of this? What style did you like? I don't really have a style yet. This is my favorite just because it's personal. It's my mom and dad in the kitchen. It makes me feel good. But I had fun doing them all. This was cute, cartoony. I really like that. I really like the back of the house. I did it in a more painterly kind of style. Like, I don't know what the styles are called, but I did it in a looser style. But I like them all. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. And this is how I've been learning art, you guys. My very first year where I decided I wanted to learn watercolor, 2023, I joined World Watercolor Month. And by forcing myself to paint every day, it helped me to learn. And then I think I only painted 5 times for the whole rest of that year. And then I did World Watercolor Month again last year, and now this year. And every year I'm painting more after World Watercolor Month, so it is helping me, like a lot. Anyway, that is it. I hope you liked it. Here, let me put this here too. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of those things that help as a channel. And most importantly of all, take care, stay safe, and happy crafting. Bye, guys.